Hello everyone, my name is Susan and I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, and I'm a teacher. I love kids and I love teaching and I love God. For over 30 years I've been teaching kids how to study. Schools don't usually teach kids how to study, but all of us need to know how to study. Learning to study begins with having a mission and goals. This video will introduce you to the term mission and goals. Your mission is why you're on this earth, and your goals are specific things you need to do to achieve your mission. Notice on this slide and on your workbook, you'll see the word Victus. Victus is a Latin word that means way of life. The Victus Study Skills System is different because it is something that will help you in school and the rest of your life. Hopefully this system will become a way of life for you. I hope this lesson will help you learn how to be a better student and that you will enjoy what we do today. I've written a letter to you that is on the first page of your workbook, and you may want to pause the video and read it right now. Now we are going to do an activity to introduce you to the idea of a mission. Turn to the next page in your workbook and you'll see 4 rectangles. In the upper left-hand corner box, I want you to draw a picture of something you spent your time doing 5 years ago. Think about how old you were 5 years ago and then draw a simple picture of something you might have been doing then. Pause the video while you do that. Okay, thanks. Now that you've done that, in the upper right-hand corner box, I want you to draw a picture of something that you do now. Think about something that you really like to do right now and draw a simple picture of that. Pause the video while you do that. Thanks. Now in the lower left-hand corner box, I want you to draw a picture of what you think you might be doing 5 years from now. Think about how old you will be 5 years from now and what you might be doing. Pause the video while you do that. Thank you. Now in the bottom right-hand corner box, I want you to draw a picture of what you think you might be doing 10 years from now. Think about how old you will be 10 years from now and draw a picture of what you think you'll be doing. Pause the video while you do that. Thanks. You've done a great job. Now look at what you've drawn. You'll see where you were 5 years ago, where you are now, and where you hope to be. Research shows that successful students have a vision or a mission for their future. What you have just drawn shows that you do believe you have a mission for your future. Your mission helps you think about why you are on this earth, and successful students think about their mission, their vision for their future. Then they begin to act in ways to help their mission become reality. Their dreams begin to come true, and they know what is important to them, and they make decisions based on that mission. Let me tell you a story that you may have heard before, but maybe you've not thought about this story as it relates to study skills. Please turn to the next page in your workbook where you will see a picture of David. A long time ago, a young boy lived and worked in the hills around his home, taking care of sheep. He spent much time outside and he had become very strong and healthy. He protected the sheep from all kinds of animals that wanted to kill them. A lion or a bear would carry off a sheep from the flock, and David would go after it. He would strike the animal and rescue the sheep from the mouth of that animal. He had learned to trust God because God had delivered him from the paw of the bear and from the paw of the lion. One day some evil men came to fight the people of David's country. The leader of these bad men was a huge man who was so mean and said and did mean things. His name was Goliath. He continually made fun of God's people. Day after day, Goliath would threaten God's people and ask if anyone were brave enough to come out and fight him. He bragged and he bragged and he threatened and he threatened. And the king of God's people could not find anyone brave enough to fight Goliath. When David saw all of this, he told the king that he would fight Goliath. The king had no one else, and he finally agreed to let David do it. When Goliath saw David was the one the king had sent to fight him, and when he saw that he was just a young boy, he made fun of David, and he said he would kill David. But the young boy was not afraid of this huge man. As a matter of fact, he had become very brave and a very skilled young boy. He had much experience in protecting the sheep, and David understood that the battle was God's. The young boy knew what mean animals looked like that wanted to kill sheep, and he knew what mean men looked like that wanted to kill God's people. David always carried with him a small bag with stones and a slingshot. He had used it many times to protect the sheep. Although that may not seem like much to fight a lion or a bear or a huge evil man, David knew his God was stronger and bigger than any of them, including Goliath. On the battlefield, Goliath moved closer to attack David. David ran quickly toward the battle line to meet him. Reaching into his bag and taking out a stone, he carefully aimed, slung it, and struck Goliath right on the forehead. The stone sank into the huge man's forehead, and with a loud thud that shook the ground around him, Goliath fell face down on the ground. David won over Goliath with a sling and a stone. When the rest of the evil men saw their leader was dead, they turned and ran. God had used David to protect the people, just as he had used him to protect the sheep. You may already know the story of David and Goliath that I just told you, but have you ever thought about that story as a lesson in study skills? Let me explain. It all starts with knowing three things: where you are now, where you want to be, and how to get there. Turn to the next page in your workbook. You must know where you are now. David knew his strengths. He fought the giant evil man with a weapon he knew how to use. Part of understanding where you are now is knowing what you are good at, understanding your strengths. What are your strengths? Maybe it's soccer, maybe it's music, maybe it's reading or drawing. Be thinking about what your strengths are. Second, you must know where you want to go. What is your mission? David knew he had a job to do with the sheep, and he knew he had a job to do with the huge evil man. Earlier, you drew a picture of what you want to be doing in 10 years. Be thinking about what you want to do when you grow up. What are your goals? Maybe you want to be a soccer player, or a teacher, or a doctor, or a farmer, or a musician. Third, you have to think about how you're going to reach your goals. What steps will you take to reach your goal? Be thinking about things you need to do to reach your goal. It's so very important for you to think about what you want to do with your life, what you believe God wants you to do with your life. You may not know all the answers to that right now, and that's okay. But it's important to know God has a plan for you. That is your mission. David knew the 3 steps. He knew his strengths, he knew his goal, and he knew how to reach his goal. Remember that researchers say that the main difference between successful and unsuccessful students is whether or not they have a dream or a vision for their future. Successful students do have missions, and they do have goals. The idea is that if you have a dream, mission, and goals for your future, you will work toward making that dream come true. I hope and pray you will work hard to make your dream, your vision, your goals come true, just like David. Now let me tell you about one of my goals. One of my goals is to know Jesus better. Will I know him better by just hoping to know him better? No, I won't. I have to take steps to reach my goal. One of the things I do is to talk to God in prayer. One of the things I do is to read my Bible every day. One of the things I do is to go to church. I can only achieve my goal of knowing God better by spending time taking steps to know him better. Now, turn to the next page. Please take a minute and write down up to 25 words that tell what you want to do or be when you grow up. Write in the space that says mission. Pause the video while you do that. Now, think of one thing you must do to reach your mission. If you want to be a doctor, you'll have to go to school. If you want to be a soccer player, you will have to learn more about soccer and you will have to practice. If you want to be a farmer, you'll need to learn and practice farming. If you want to teach people about God, you will need to learn more about God. Now, in the next part, you can just write a few words like go to school, learn about soccer, or learn more about farming. Pause the video while you write in the space that says goal. You may have written down play soccer better, or you may have written down do better in science or school, or you may have written down be a better friend. That is your goal. Now in the next space, write down 3 steps you can take to play soccer better or to achieve whatever thing you wrote down. You might write down practice 2 hours each week, watch good soccer players 1 time every week, eat healthy foods. Pause the video while you do that. Now you can see that what goal you want to reach must also include steps to reach it. You can't just want it. You can't just hope for it. You must decide what is important, and you must have steps to reach that goal. I can only achieve my goal of knowing God better by spending time taking steps to know Him better. You are young, and now is the time to begin to develop habits to help you achieve your goals. Making good and godly decisions about how you spend your time will help you achieve good results. You are at a time in life that decisions you make can affect you for the rest of your life. Now look at the next page in your workbook and you will see a promise from God to you. It is in the Bible, and it's just one of our loving God's promises. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans of good and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. His plan does not always mean things are easy, just like they weren't easy for David. Now please turn the page in your workbook, and after the video stops, read the questions and write down your answers. When you have finished, tear out just that one page and give it to the person who is there to gather it. I hope you will think about what we have done today. Today, you can start thinking about your mission and your goals. Today, you can start taking steps to reach them. The video will end in just a moment, but before it does, please know I pray that God will lead you and that you will walk with Him today and always. Thank you for listening today, and may our loving God bless you always.